You know what? Then he said it was a person more senior than her. Then I thought that I would become a doctor, and that passion caught me. I became a medical doctor through training, because she told me what to do, PCB and all that. In fact, I did better in arts, but I went for medicine. But when I came back, I asked my mother, who is still alive, I asked her that what happened to that woman. Yeah, she told me that woman had a ruptured uterus, and this was Center 2, no theater, no doctor, no ambulance. So that woman had a ruptured uterus and she passed on. Why I'm saying that, I knew that I had a calling. I became a doctor, and then but I knew my calling has something to do with women and children and all that, and working people. So when I became a doctor, I became a trade union struggling, and then I ended up in parliament. So even when I was in 25 years in parliament, those years I continued serving the workers and establishing a framework. So even right now, even as I'm out of parliament, I have continued normally. The only thing I cannot do is to step, because there is somewhere they say reserved for MPs. But I do everything I used to do, even better. Serving the workers, I have established what we call the workers' ministries, reaching out to the workers. I'm talking to the nurses and midwives so that they can be able to participate in trying to save women from death and all that. I'm mentoring workers to do better. Most of these things you'll be seeing them, because I've been trying to establish a greater sort of foundation, which will soon you'll be seeing all these things. But so for me, it's not really wasted time. Actually, right now I'm better, and I serve workers more than I was in parliament. But using that experience, now those who don't know me and who don't know what I'm doing, of course, they might not even come across. They might not even know that there are some things that happen where I'm contributed, but they don't know. Even right now, the president calls me sometimes and to advise on certain things of workers, but no one knows, because that is like secret, confidential. But I'm raising it to understand. So I know that my experience is being used by the president, being used by many other people. I always guide them.
To practicing medicine?
Yeah, I practice medicine.
Whereabouts?
Throughout, at a higher level, we're establishing a hospital, which is going to be one of the first. That's why I said there are a lot of things that you will see. Working with doctors from outside and the other sort of networks. So we're establishing maternal child health hospital.
So you and Dr. Best, you have been out of the medical
Yes, but we even as we were there, we have been operating. You know, wherever we are, people, you find people are sick, you find mothers delivering. Sometimes you are passing through a place and they say mothers delivering, doctor, and you go and assist. So you cannot forget the skill, just like when you are driving. Even you might not be open the driving, and might even have a driver, but you drive. Actually, it's even better than the driver, but you might be seated. So we still continue practicing.
We have a few minutes left.
Yeah.
Dr. Lyomoki, you speak like a born-again Christian. You speak like a kind man. You speak like a morally upright person. Why are you stealing workers' money?
Oh. Why do you say why am I stealing workers' money? Because that's the narrative.
No, the report is...
Yes.
You and others... are members of the NSS board. I will quote Asha has said. You told the NSSF board management to include 1 billion shillings for you in their budget. Well knowing that you don't deserve that money. It's not rightful earning that Christian would take. You fixed your 1 billion, and you also fixed 6 billion for Amongi Betty. Why would you steal money that we earn hardly when you're Christian?
And that's why I was saying that it depends on what you listen to. Narrative. You know, the challenge we have in this country is that always negative narratives catch fire more than the positive narrative. So right now, the people who actually are stealing money are painting us, who are assisting the workers, as thieves. So if you listen to a mafia guy or a cartel that is trying to paint, wanting to take workers' money, who are even buying it, so by the way, they are buying even newspapers to give that narrative, and you have evidence, all this. People like the way some of them are being given money.
Buying
yes, and you have evidence. So in order to give a negative narrative about me, about the minister, and about others. But as I said, for me what matters is what God knows. So for me, I speak here in the judgment of God. And I know that God is going to judge us one time.
Okay, the 1 billion you want to...
Yes, and I want to tell you, I speak here in the judgment of God, that actually that narrative of saying that I wanted to eat the 1 billion is a concoction to undermine me. Because I had already told you earlier that we realized that when workers go out and retire, actually within 3 years, after they have got their pensions, they are already going back to the street. They don't have that money. If someone is 50 years or 55 and gets his pension, his or her pension, experience has shown that within 3 years, that money is gone. So if you got money at 50, by 53 years, that money is gone. Now, if you live for another 30 years, you don't have any money and you're not working. And the problem is because of lack of financial literacy. So we agreed with the fund as workers. This was the first time that we should have training of workers, and the training can only be done by trade unions. So part of that money, that's about 400 million, had already been given out. I mean, not given out, had already been budgeted, earmarked for what is called financial literacy. It was supposed to be 400 for through COFTU and 400 through NOT. So it was 800 meant for financial literacy. And right now, we are trying to work out on a framework of the NSS to train workers. As I already mentioned about it. So that money is going for financial, it's not for Dr. Lyomoki. But we also realized
part of them are supposed to go to NOT where actually
400, yes, but you see, the problem is Oweri, and that's why I don't want to talk about him. They have their problems. Oweri has been removed from being a chairman general of NOT, and you have been hearing that fight. Yes. The matter is in the court. I cannot talk about it. So there is a fight between him and the leaders there, and also he's among the people who have been funded by some cartels to go and injure us. Which is a very corrupt cartel.
In NSS?
Yes, in NSS, involving some people in NSS and people from outside. Yes, they are cartel. Yes, of corrupt people. Yes. Yes, and we have evidence on that. I cannot talk here because I will be sub judice to the investigations, and I will also be not fair.
You're saying that you have evidence?
I have evidence.
Of a
cartel in NSSF, which is trying to steal by overinflating contracts, trying to get bribes through contracts and all that. I have that evidence. I have it. And actually even the government has, the minister has, everyone has, even the president. So that cartel, when Dr. Lyomoki, who is a member of the workers' board, is trying to assist the workers and trying to say, no, there's a problem here, they will not be happy with me. And they have more money, they can buy you. They can even buy you to come and attack me. I'm not saying about you, but I'm trying to show you.
Of course I'm beyond that.
You're beyond that, but I'm trying to show you. If you don't have good morals, you would call me here, because you have been given some little money and promised me something. You come and your intention would be to come and embarrass me. If you didn't have the professionalism and also the humanity and the conscience to say let us give fairness to this man. So that is a challenge in NSS.
So what was the 1 billion for?
So I told you the 400 was for COFTU and 400 for NOT.
There is 200.
No, not 200. There was another 600. So after, because the COFTU was supposed to receive 400 and not 400.
That's 800.
No, not 800. These are different because these are two organizations. I'm trying to explain to you.
Yes.
In the COFTU, I'm the Secretary General of COFTU. Yes. Who is the chief executive? So when something is being written, I'm the one who does what? Who's saying? We have even the PS of Labor, who is a member of the board, who has been writing for money. One time he wrote money to us as NSS to fund some things, and he writes as a PS. Do you say that money is going to the PS as a person, or it is going to be by an institution?
This is for the institution.
Yeah. So why do you say Dr. Lyomoki, because they are saying that the Secretary General, that money is going to Dr. Lyomoki because the worker, the PS of Labor writes and you say it's going to the institution? Don't you think you're undermining the workers' organizations? Because I'm also Secretary General, and you see, or just like MD can write who is the MD of the fund, can write for some money to do certain things in the fund. Can you say that money is going to the MD?
No, it will be for the...
But you can see, depending on the narrative, you can paint the money requested by Dr. Lyomoki as going to Dr. Lyomoki, who is the CEO of COFTU. But the money going to be used for NSA because the MD has written, that one is going to NSA. And now you see the double standard there.
Understand.
Yeah, because if I write, and the money is going to go to the account of COFTU, which has organs and structures, and then you say money has gone to Lyomoki. If you were a genuine person and fair, you know that they are trying to blackmail me. But as I said, all this we leave to God to judge, and that's why I cannot defend me. I'm just giving the facts. So the 400 was meant for financial literacy, but we also realized that we have opened up space for workers to join NSSF. Right now, out of the 15 million workers who are working, we have the bunch of them are in the informal economy. They're about 15. If you look at, there's a way we sort of categorize people who are in the worker force, what is called productive labor force. They are 15 million. It's only 600,000 that are active members of the NSSF, yes, and another 600,000 that is dormant. So we have a total of about 1.2 million.
Roughly 1.3.
Yeah, 1.3, which is less than 10%
of the workforce.
Of the workforce.
Yes.
So we realized that
and it is you people who are failing the others from collecting.
That's right.
You work with them, they pay you, so they don't come to
the fund. So what we decided to do was, through the board and through the management and the minister, there was a proposal that the NSSF, given the fact that initially we've been getting money from employers who have more than 5 workers, now we're getting from everyone, including the formal economy, and we have what are called voluntary service, voluntary benefits. We thought that we shall need a broader framework of mobilization of so that unions and others can also be part of the system. So we established 3 additional, apart from financial literacy, 3 additional programs or structures which we said which were pillars. One was what was called mobilization and the activities that are related to talking to workers, moving around, sensitizing workplaces, and trying to empower workers. That was one of them.
Just this morning I was teaching people that even if you yourself as an individual can save money for yourself.
That's right. And this meant going to the TVs, like if you come here and the workers have to buying space and all that. So that was mobilization. We had another one which was called technology, because if you look at the trade unions, they are amateurs in terms of how they operate, and if you say they are weak because we don't have technology. So we wanted to bring all those members we have on a technological app, a digital platform, so that if COFT has 2 million members and not has 2 million members, that's already 4 million. We would now use our digital platform to link with the NSSF and tell that these members of ours, the 4 million, if out of the 4 million only maybe 500,000 are members of NSSF, the 3.5 should automatically become members of NSSF through our program. So we wanted to bring digitalization that was going to be done on COFT and also on NOTU. Then the third point was what we called CSI, corporate social investment or responsibility. And this we say now, wherever we find the people, if you're the workplace who have good programs, we can support them. Like I can give you an example. For us, we are targeting about 2 or 3 programs. That one of them was, for instance, our membership are market vendors. Now you find the other time, remember I went and talked to the president one time about 10 years ago, 5 years ago, more than 5. And the president gave us, remember, that money, which was called Presidential Initiative for Market Vendors. It was about 14 billion. That money did not, it tried to assist the members, but there was a lot of problems because corruption came in and people tried to eat that money. But we noted, like for market vendors, that they are working, but some of them, like for instance, tomato sellers, a woman will bring her tomato basket. The time when we came up about 5 years, it was about 200,000. I don't know how much it is right now, a tomato basket, a full tomato basket. But that money she's using, she has borrowed sometimes to get that money, and then they have taxes on it and whatever. So we realized that now, supposing these tomatoes rot, if they go bad, she loses. So the CSI wanted to do there was to mobilize these women and establish to them what is called the value addition hub, where they can do tomato sauce.
That when the tomatoes
so you just bring tomatoes, and then the worker will say, oh, I brought these tomatoes, this portion might go bad in the next 2 days. These other ones let me sell. So you have that type of, so one of the money which was coming to COFT, yes, was going to do what was called, and actually wanted to launch it on this Labor Day. So the 1,400,000,000 was supposed to go for financial literacy. The 600, which had not yet been budgeted, I had proposed that the 200 goes for CSI, this issue of tomatoes and others. The other 200 goes for technology, and the other 200 for mobilization. But as the NSF, they had not yet approved.
That was the 1 billion.
Yeah. 400 had already been approved for financial literacy. 600 had been the process of approval. And we even signed a memorandum of understanding between NSSF and COFT.
Oh, now you're going to...
Yeah, how that man, and how it could be accountability.
Is it not conflict of interest that you belong to the NSSF board and you also manage COFT?
No, it's not conflict of interest. Why do you say that? Why don't you say that the government, the PS of government, who is also on NSSF board, is also in the PS. You know, that's what, yeah, and the employers, because you see the NSSF is a workers' organization. So we have what is called the stakeholders board. When we are there, we don't go there because you're Secretary General of COFTO and because you're Secretary General. In fact, if you find the people from North are not Secretary Generals, some of them are just, so the people just see established and they say, now for these 3 years you have nominated so and so to go. After 3 years, another person will go. So you can double as Secretary General. These are different things. But but in terms of management, we had established a structure. In fact, personally, even if I'm the Secretary General, we had already agreed internally that when in the management of this, I would not be involved. Okay. My role was like, when a letter comes, like, because I'm the Secretary General, I could write. So in summary, to the world and to the evil people and wicked people, they call me a thief. But I'm very sure, in the eyes of God, and the God who will judge us, I was very genuine, and in terms of that man that was going to assist the members.
So how about the 6 billion?
Now, in terms of the 6 billion...
That you were assisting the minister to get.
Now, in terms of the 6 billion, when we're discussing, the 6 billion issue came from even the management of NSS. The minister...
From the management of NSS?
Yes. And that's why I'm saying that there are a lot of...
Not the minister?
No, it didn't come from the minister.
Let
me explain to you how it came. Let me explain to you how it came. What happened was, when we were passing the budget, as the budget comes from the management and it comes to the board, and it goes to the minister, because the law says with the board of the fund will pass budgets with approval of the minister. So at the time of approval, the minister found certain issues in that budget. One, she realized that about 5 billion is being used for tea, people to enjoy themselves and travel.
5 billion?
Yes. So she said, then another 10 billion was being used. Actually, tea
exercising.
Actually, it was about 10 billion for tea and all that. And then she said, but you have this 10 billion, 15 and whatever we use for these things. But if you look at the act, the law, it gives me and other people a certain mandate for you to go and do certain activities which you have not included. To mobilize. So she told them, why you go back and look at this budget. And from the information we got, the management themselves, they said, okay, we can provide some money. I think initially they said 5 or 4, I don't know the details there. And there was the chairman of the board, there was the MD, the current MD who is now outside. They went and agreed, and they said they will provide that amount. So the minister, in writing her letter to us, in approving of the budget, he says, I have approved this budget, but 400 billion is in wrong activity because there is a problem with the money you want to put in land, which looks fake land. So she told us 400 should not be part of the budget. Then she also said, and you remember there was this problem that whereby these people had come and they had inflated the money and they had told the board to pass 400 billion when actually it was supposed to be less than that. So the minister said there is a question mark on the 400. The minister also said, make sure that you include the 5 billion that we have agreed to put for mobilization. That was the letter of the minister. So what happens is that these vultures and other people, they now jump on this letter.
You call them what?
Yes, vultures. Vultures.
Who are they?
Vultures, you know them. You know them, and God knows them. And they know themselves. So they want, and they get this letter of the minister. The minister has written. Now you see, and when you get it, because the minister is the one who has written to us, if you are not aware of the details, the minister is just waiting to approve of the budget and say, out of the 500, out of the money, the 2 points, it was something 200 something billion for operation. We have agreed that you put 5 billion for activities of mobilizing workers, and these activities are
the numbers of savers can grow.
But now those vultures, for them they peak. Now the minister, so they start blackmailing the minister, and they give you a narrative that the minister wants the 5 billion.
So Sam.
Now, but you listen. If you were a genuine person and you listen, and you were given how the thing came, would you say that the minister is not taking that 5 billion?
No.
But that's the
money could come.
So right now the population are saying money is for minister to eat 5 billion, 1 billion for Lyomoki. Now, for me, I just look at that type of with concept because I know That I'm not determined by what people say, what people say, but I'm only determined by what is the truth, and the truth by then, after time, it will be known.
In a minute.
Yes.
In a minute. We have known how that money came. So speaking the truth as a Christian,
yes.
How much was for you and the minister genuine? The other nothing. Those ones are known. Those are
of course, I'm sure the details. The details. So no, that money was not mine. It would only
so there was nothing for you.
Maybe it would come to me. No, what would happen? Maybe it would come to me for Kof told me that you go and do this work, and then they give me allowance.
At that level.
Yeah, at that level, but it wasn't my money.
So who is stealing workers' money?
God knows who is stealing, and the people were singing not very well. But there's investigation. Yes.
You are a member of the board.
No, I don't want to talk here. I know for me, I know who is stealing, but right now I will not talk. Because that person is going to be punished when the time comes. If right now that person uses money to bribe the investigation, so be it. Right now the investigation will reveal him or her, but if the investigation becomes so tainted that they're even bought off, and they give a wrong conclusion, then we shall leave it to God to judge.
Without a managing director now, Mr. Richard Yorga is out.
Yes.
Isn't the fund nearing collapse?
No, it's very safe now. Because the current leader who is there is a very good leader and genuine.
Is the fund safe?
Very safe, more than safe.
With IOTA?
Yes, because IOTA is a very good sort of...
Yeah? There is a cartel.
Yes.
How do we handle the cartel?
Now, let us leave the investigation come out. If those investigators are genuine
you have any
and they are good, I don't know. But what I'm saying, for me, what I can tell you as Lyomoki, that if those people, the investigators, don't do their work, and they set free those vultures, those investigators and the vultures, God will judge them. We shall all meet there, and in the judgment day.
We wait for God when we are seeing our money.
No, right now, what I'm saying.
Really, we have put our money.
For us, we have done our part by saying let the people investigate. But there's a possibility those people can find the truth, but also there's a possibility, just like this narrative, whereby those investigations can be made to have a sort of a fake narrative of the whole thing. It's possible. And then they would say that those people are free. And then they would say cartels are free and the vultures are free. And then after they will be able, the people are true, will be taken as the problem. And that day we leave to God. But if those investors are genuine and honest and people of integrity, they are going to find out the vultures and the cartel.
Has Betty Among messed up the fund?
No, she has not. Actually, she's doing a very good work. Out of all the ministers, yes. You know what? Do you know why there was quietness?
No.
There was a lot of corruption, and the Minister of Finance was the one who involved in the corruption. That's why they were quiet. They were in bed with cartels. The Minister of Finance was in bed with cartels and vultures. So when Among comes, you remember what the president said? Yes. The president says that he has brought fishermen. Yes. And for the first time, I thanked God. Remember when Jesus was selecting people?
Selected fishermen.
And this fisherman, Among, is a good fisherman for the workers because he's the one who has brought this thing outside. But if we had remained under finance, you would have known this corruption. So I thank God for Among. I ask God to bless her, to protect her, and I thank God for God who allowed the president to bring Among here as a minister. Actually, she's one of the best ministers.
Not Among messing up our fund?
She's the one who assisting the fund, as far as I'm concerned. And as I say, that's my position, and I'm talking without fear. I'm talking in the sight, knowing that God is judging us here. I know Among has come to assist the workers in terms of the truth. But as I say, the narrative against Among and me is negative, but that is the negative of evil people, a narrative of people who are covering up and who are trying to fight the truth and fighting the priests of God.
Suppose you are found culpable for inactivity in NSA.
No, for me, I don't care. Whatever they find, for me, what I know is that I don't look at the sight of God. I mean, in the sight of God, I know I've done what is the truth and what is the best. So whatever man comes up with, it does not matter,
TV,
as far as I'm concerned.
The Hot Cup at 9 today with Dr. Sam Lyomoki, former Workers MP, Secretary General of COF2, and member of the NSSF board. Lyomoki says that there is a cartel, there are vultures, but he's confident that him, as a right-thinking member of society, and Betty Among the minister, will save the fund. Thank you. Good morning.